So we'll call this meeting to order on June 16th, 2026. And start with
The
a
Mad River Valley Rec District.
Mad River Valley Rec District Board meeting. And we'll start with public comment. Oh, well, I guess we'll start with reviewing the agenda, or are there any members of the public in attendance?
Check. No.
No, then we'll move on to review of the agenda. Does anyone have any questions regarding the agenda from May 20th?
The minutes.
The minutes. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to require some coaching here. Okay. Let's approve the draft minutes from May 20th, 2026. Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding those draft minutes?
I'm to accept the minutes
from last month.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor to
Aye.
approve the draft minutes from May 20th? Aye.
Aye.
Motion. And we're going to have a 15-minute conversation regarding Mad River Park and turf remedies. Then summer meeting dates, executive director report. Then we have 40 minutes allocated to hopefully finalizing our strategic plan. And then a conversation about letters of support policy. Any questions about the agenda? If no questions, then we'll move on to conversation regarding Mad River Park. I haven't made a lot of progress since our last meeting, but we did get pricing from S&D Landscapes, which is fairly daunting. I sent this afternoon an email.
You want me to take notes?
Oh, yes, if you would, please. Thank you, Mike. I sent an email with a couple of attached documents. One is the recommendations from S&D with some couple of my follow-up questions and their responses. And then the other is their estimate. I can tell you that the estimate is a little confusing. I'm just going to open it up right now because they list one cost as per season, the turf fertilization and grub control treatment. The grub control is happens to be what's causing the major damage on the field, and we have to treat it or it's just going to get worse. They list it as per season, but what that means is for that
Look,
price.
I have to pause for a second.
Yes.
We need a
Yes.
note taker. We need a note taker.
Yes, Mike's
Yeah,
taking
Mike's
notes.
already- Oh, Mike's got it. Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Sorry.
You can hear that? That's, if you were in the room, you would have heard it, so just.
Thank you, Mike.
Gonna be able to
Sorry.
hear everything.
I heard it.
Okay, I heard it.
I didn't.
More passionately.
I can move this a little more to the right. So the turf fertilization and grub control program billed as per season, 12,679 per season essentially means that that's not a charge per visit. That's multiple visits in one summer season. So, does that make sense?
Well, it says 5-step turf fertilization.
And then there's 4 months. June,
Okay,
July.
okay,
Right.
all right, yeah, there you go, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for, we'd like to get some second opinions and some other estimates to compare. But these guys definitely are in the business. I think I mentioned last time they run the tree farm fields in Essex. So it's pretty daunting number. It's just short of $50,000 for 1 year of treatment, one fall of treatment.
Am I correct that thereafter, what they're proposing on an annual basis is a little over 12,000, that estimate? Once they knock out some of the problems?
No, none of this is the per season, that title has to do with their software, and it's poor, it's semantics, but it's a poor choice of words. What that means is the seasonal services is basically 5 visits for that price. So that instead of telling us that it's going to be, you know, $2,500 every time they come for 5 visits, they give us the 1 per season price. So that none of this pricing has anything to do with management going forward after spring of 2027.
And this is for them to do all the fields.
Right, all of the fields.
So the problem is on the lacrosse field. And so I think we have to ask them some more questions about, you know, would you only do one, you know, the one thing that's preventative on the soccer fields?
Well, the problem is throughout. It just happens to be worse on the lacrosse end. So I think we have a grub situation on the soccer end. It's just not as severe. So I think we would be really remiss in not treating the soccer fields for the grub situation. One thought I had was, you know, maybe we could treat all the fields for, you know, do the grub and fertilization treatment, and then try to support the soccer end with volunteer work, whether it's more aerating, more fertilizing, but what we can do with Mike and the tools we have, and spend the money aggressively tine aerating and overseeding and composting the lacrosse end this year. And then next year, if we don't have to do the grub treatment because we've solved that problem and we're able to raise some money, next year we do a more aggressive fertilization of the soccer field and try to adjust the lacrosse fertilization accordingly. So maybe we're spending $30,000 instead of 50.
I mean, there is something positive about this, which is that they like gave us their cheat sheet for maintenance, right? Like a prescription.
Yeah.
So is there a possibility that we can utilize certain things that we do not have the capacity to manage? Like it seems like the grub treatment and
Mhm.
any level of like pesticide application would be something that would not be safe for a volunteer to do without training or experience.
Right.
But then see if there's a way that these can be built into, you know, they give like, you know, how much per, you know, 1,000 feet, you know, of surface we need for certain elements. So like, is there a way that we could find another team or another group to like go in on purchasing larger quantities of some of these things and then manage this with volunteer work days?
Mhm.
I don't know what that answer is, but
Right.
but I'm just curious.
Well, we do have the possibility of the turf guy from Sugar Bush coming. I followed through on
Yeah.
that I think you suggested that last meeting, and so I've seen Joel Rhodes, who is my contact at Sugar Bush, at a couple of meetings recently, and he thought Jerry, the turf guy, had been there. And I said, well, Bear was copied on all those emails, and Bear wasn't aware, and I wasn't aware, so I think he has not been there, but I think there's potential. And we could show him this. I mean, we could email this to him.
Mhm.
And just for some advice, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a one step. I can take care of that.
Yeah.
And see, because you know, if this was your yard and so you needed it nice, but you were on a tight budget, like what would you do? That's how I think about things, you know, so ask my friend who's the expert. I maybe do it through certain things on parts of the field, because you don't even know if it's gonna work, and then. Anyway. Just some thoughts.
But it's still all contingent on thorough watering. That's the other issue.
Yeah,
So that was something that I observed throughout their estimate, was talking about the inadequacy of our irrigation, which is sort of a bummer.
and I can comment on that, Alice, when you're done.
Yeah, so and of course, I don't think we're through assessing the situation without bringing in others to assess. And I would hate to be in a situation where they have this disclaimer that, well, your irrigation is inadequate, ergo, no matter what we do, it's not warranted.
So at the time that I met with them, their assessment of the irrigation system was essentially, we weren't irrigating enough, but that has to do with the setting of the irrigation system. It's currently set to be on a 3-hour cycle, and he was saying it should be on a 10-hour cycle. So that means, basically one whole night, one 10-hour period to do one strip. And so, what that brings to my mind is, okay, what is the capacity for our well? Does it have the capacity to run 2 water wheels at the same time? And do we invest in a second water wheel so that we can be doing 2 strips at least of irrigation at the same time? And, S&D, they're in the turf business, so they were really suggesting, above ground irrigation, which is, I don't think that's where we're going in the short term. We have a system, and I think we just need to figure out how to make it work for our fields. And I think we can make some adjustments. But it's going to take a much bigger volunteer effort this summer to do so.
I just looked up a document that's on our drive that says we get 18 gallons per minute. I don't know if that is at all
Okay,
helpful, but
I
that means
don't
too,
really
but-
know. You did a little research too, didn't you?
Right, because it's not non-potable, there's no state water supply permit for it. But all we have is the well, yield, but we don't know, we don't know how much is in the well, before we tap it out, so maybe.
So it could run dry, we just don't know. So
Right.
this is the.
Might be able to ask the well driller. that
Ms.
we
Minaj,
use,
yeah.
Just for some perspective on it.
You should know the refill rate of the well, because they test that when they do put the sprinkler systems in. Where they should, because my well in Massachusetts went dry. The guy didn't do that, and he ran all of the zones at the same time. It was not good. So
Well,
he should know, he probably should know better than Dr.
Right, I mean, I don't know if they do that test when they know it's not for a potable
yeah,
use.
Different.
Like that's what you would see in a water supply permit from the state, but. It's
I mean,
worth asking the well.
yeah, I think you're right. I think we're right. Do you want me to ask Minash about,
Sure,
okay.
yeah. About the refill rate?
See the screw right there?
Hey, Matt. Oh, you're just in time for our conversation about Mad River Park.
Nice.
Pull up a chair.
Congratulations, man. Thank you. It's pretty good. Very well.
Everybody, this is Matt Lillard, and Matt is one of the coaches for the Harwood Boys Lacrosse who won the D2 state championships. Nice.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Again,
Yes.
Did you coach?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
yeah.
Okay.
He got reeled back in this year. Yeah.
Cool.
So this was his second state championship win as a coach. 2021 was the big year too. So Matt, we were just talking about, and I don't know if you saw my email with the documents regarding the recommendations and the estimate from S&D Landscape. I just sent it this afternoon, so you may not have seen it.
Diminish.
And, you know, essentially they're recommending pretty aggressive treatment, specifically grubs, aerating, tining, compost, fertilizing, to the tune of about $50,000 between now and spring of 2027.
Okay.
So we were just talking about, you know, number one, we want to get some second opinion and some other estimates, and also kind of break down what the recommendations were from S&D and try to figure out, you know, what could we potentially take on ourselves. And then another thought was, you know, can we parcel it out, and instead of doing the whole field, we know that the grub infestation is quite a bit of damage on the La Crosse end, and there's evidence of it on the soccer end, but not as bad, but we still need to treat it. So one thought is, you know, do we treat the whole thing for grubs and then just aggressively aerate and fertilize and compost the La Crosse end to get that turf coming back, and treat the soccer end as we can, and then maybe next year, you know, raise some more money over the year and then be able to do the same kind of aggressive fertilizing on the soccer end, and then at some point try to find a middle ground where we're sustaining good grass
Right.
without having to dig ourselves out of a hole. Do you have any?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Suggestions
without
are-
that, I think, yeah, looking at what we can self-perform, for lack of a better word, or get
Yeah,
donations in kind for, et cetera, is a good thought. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think starting at the worst end,
yeah,
fixing that first, and then getting the grubs. I can imagine do that everywhere.
Right.
I don't know what it means as far as laying on it for X period of time, pesticide wise, but
yeah,
I mean, that seems to make sense.
right.
Is S&D thinking like this $50,000, John, should be something we should budget for every year? Or is this like we need to get on this problem now to get you back at a
Yeah,
certain level, and then the costs come down in future years? Did you get a sense for that?
I haven't really gotten a sense for that. My one sense is that once we treat the grubs,
Good for a
we
while?
should be good, you know,
Well-
but I don't know if there's preventative treatment that is recommended, but at least that would be
So we
one
need that
chunk.
kind of detail from
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Okay.
I
This is-
don't, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Molly.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so sorry if this was talked about, but, like, have you talked to other rec field people? Is this something that they're dealing with? Is this grub problem
Yeah.
specific to us? Or is everyone, like, what is the budget looking like is this unusual or is this typical?
I reached out to the professional group and I got 2 responses and I sent them to Bear. Somebody had grubs worse than this and skunks all over the field because they like to eat the grubs. So I can pull up those responses. There is coming up a big turf through the Vermont Rec and Parks thing. There's an all-day turf meeting in New Hampshire in another couple weeks. I shared that with Bear. I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody wants to go to it,
I'm considering.
you know, because then somebody could learn. I think we also, you know, one thing is we want to, you know, could we pay him to aerate more? Could we, you know, rent his aerator? I mean, you know, I think you could parcel it out.
I have a question about that. A number of years ago, Woodchuck Golf applied for a grant for a specific piece of equipment. And I feel like it was an aerator. And at that point in time, there were a number of things that we had decided, like we were making decisions as to whether or not we wanted to own any equipment. It came around the same time as the Ridge Runners were thinking about buying their big groomer.
Mhm.
And does anybody remember this? Like there was a specific grant request, and I feel like we maybe helped to purchase or offset the cost of equipment used to maintain. And I wonder if that's an option.
Hmm.
I'd like to
Was it
see.
within the past 6 years when I would have been here?
Yes, it was like 4 years ago. I remember that, Luke. And I don't remember where we landed because it did come down to that discussion about if we buy equipment, do we own equipment? Same thing with the with cross country and their groomer, who owns it. So I think it was in the last 4 years, maybe.
I'll look it up in our grants and see if we actually.
I think-
changed them.
Well, the good news is we now own a tractor. So if we could borrow an aerator, which we may be able to just borrow Mike's aerator,
Yeah.
then, we can do that with volunteer time.
I mean, I have line in my house that I inherited when we bought it, so I'll donate the line, which is 2 big heavy buckets.
Great. But Molly, to answer your question about the grubs eat the roots of stressed grasses. And the lacrosse end of that field in particular has never had great soil and it drains very, very quickly. So the sort of long history of stressed grasses and really poor soil, and then the drought last year I think just kind of gave the grubs free range. And the problem has been there for a number of years. This is the first year that it was really so strikingly obvious that there was a problem. For a number of years, I was chalking it up to just lack of irrigation before we had the irrigation system or, whatever. But anyway, so I think it is pretty common.
I'll jump in with the answer. It was a rental for an aerator was the grant request.
Gotcha.
How much did it cost to run?
The extenuated costs for like a day was $1,200, I think. Let me see here. No, that was that was something else. This is they don't have a very good budget with it, so I can't
Yeah.
really tell. It was not that expensive.
It makes me wonder about Harwood, because they maintain all of their fields and.
I actually think that they would be interested in sharing. They are interested in getting an aerator.
Oh, so they don't have one.
Some on boosters, and that was one of their wish list items. Now, there is either an aerator or a slicer,
Yeah.
like in the weeds across it. I drove by that the other.
Oh, really?
the other month. Going, wow, I used. I got
This is $8,220.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think sharing of resources like an aerator will make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
We need a trailer,
Yeah.
Toby Hunt.
I mean, I have,
somebody had, move
Okay.
around, but.
like, we've also talked about a roller, like, where I used to teach in Northfield, I know the maintenance guys really well there, and they have both aerators and rollers. And, to borrow that in the middle of summer, if they're not doing maintenance, and use that for a couple of days, if we wanted to hit the polo fields, especially after like the July 4th polo games. It's
Mhm.
just that, if we can get permission to do that, but also, we could just see if people will loan us stuff. I
Yep.
mean,
Who would be the contact at CrossFit? Any idea?
No, I mean, Dwayne Pearson is the principal.
Okay.
Ian Brownfelder is the AD, kind of both.
Okay.
I don't know how that applied, must apply to middle school across it.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think sharing resources, borrowing, relying on a more aggressive and robust volunteer effort this summer. Hopefully we can cut the estimate down, take some things on our own. I guess my question is right now, if we want to get this work going, we need, we need to allocate some money to it. And can we do that? We know that we have 33,000, I think, in sort of Mad River Park backup account. And can we say that we plan to spend up to 30 of that in the next year?
Here's another question. We recently allocated funds for the purchase of benches, and did we allocate money for the shed? Like, I'm
No, we
wondering,
didn't.
we didn't, okay. And that wasn't, that was like less than $5,000 for the benches, right? Like less, like a couple grand.
Like only 1,200, but I can look that up, but.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that's like, we can go another year without benches, but if we go another year without treatment,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
you know, so if there's ways that we have to move around money,
right.
then.
I mean, I think we could appeal to the leagues
Yeah.
and they might be able to come up with some money to help us.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be a lot, you know? We can raise the rent on the leagues. Right now, it's $1,000 per season. We could raise that. That's still kind of a drop in the bucket, so to speak. We could raise the rent on Mad River Park for the towns and, you know, ask them each town for another $5,000 next budget year and just try to start building back our kitty a little bit that way. And I don't really see us getting into this without some private funding. And Mike, you had mentioned in our last meeting, a capital fund. And I don't know much about that, what that means, or how we start that, or how we maintain it. But I think we have to start wrapping our brains around appealing to this community to raise more money for this resource, because clearly we don't have enough.
And we also have to know. I feel like we have to know a lot more. About which pieces could be done by volunteers. Which like more advice, more, I mean, I think it's a lot to decide just to go, okay, we're gonna put $30,000 of this, because we don't know if we're gonna need more money next year. We don't, yeah, I mean, we have to do something, but
But can we not vote to allocate up to a certain amount of money? And then if that money isn't spent, it's just stays in the
Yeah,
Mad River Park bucket,
but it seems
right?
to me we don't have as many details as we should to be using that amount of money, but Doug, Alice, I mean, you're.
Well, I'm just wondering, you know, and it is difficult to navigate through the SD estimate because they kind of roll together what would be sort of annual maintenance and remediation. So if we were to set priorities in terms, you know, on a sliding scale of remediation, maintenance priorities, boom, boom, boom. And I think you said it quite eloquently, Bear, about once we get it back up to snuff, then what would annual look like? But I'm thinking about our most immediate needs now in terms of remediation and I don't know where the fertilizer is at remediation, is that maintenance, but I'm thinking about categorizing it by remediation first, and then asking on the annual maintenance, what can we do ourselves in terms of fertilizing and things like that. So remediation, it sounds like the singular most significant remediation is the grub control. And then thereafter, what are the highest targets for remediation? And then, and working from there, we can say, okay, that's the bare minimum of what we need to say up to we should be prepared to spend. And then there's a whole nother category in terms of annual maintenance, which, you know, is a capital fund. Is that it's not really for annual maintenance. It's for, you know, the big ticket items like buying the fire truck. Because we're going to have to figure out what annual maintenance is going to be ultimately as well, and figure out how to fund that.
And there's, like, the towns don't give to Mad River Park, they just give us
Right,
their
I
40,000
understand.
and the 20,000, right? So we could just give out less than grants next year if we have to. I mean, I don't see in these times, I do not see asking the towns
Yeah,
for more money,
hear ya.
even for Deer Mad River Park. So I think, we should, figure some other things out. Yes, maybe a capital campaign to have, to replenish this, fund that we have some extra money for the park now. But I would say that, and also we have to budget for more insurance because we're gonna have to tell them we own. Anytime you have equipment, like I fill out this big survey every year, so, and you can't have volunteers do certain things because of liability. So
Mhm.
we're gonna have to
So
work
you're gonna
with.
be on a tractor?
No, they were open, but yeah,
I'm teasing.
sure. No problem.
Well, Mike's been
My
riding the
husband's
tractor.
trailer,
You're the
I've
only
never been on it, so, okay, that tells you something. But what I'm saying is, they, there's, so that's a whole nother category of owning equipment, which now we've just started to, and, I don't mean to be a downer about this, but it's more complicated than you
Right.
think.
Bear.
Yes.
I am curious, I'm sure that, this is a very reputable company, but are there other companies that do this same kind of thing? I'm just thinking, at the Valley Players, we had, a company come in and give us a quote for some work that was $100,000, and another company said, no, that's not the problem. And
Mhm.
their
Yeah.
quote was 40,000. So I think it's important to get a second opinion, and maybe they'll be the same, and then
Right,
we'll know for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, that is definitely the plan.
Okay.
Sugarbush golf course person.
I haven't
No, but
reached out to or
I
heard
said
from
I'm
a
gonna
golf
contact
course
them again.
person.
I mean,
So meanwhile, we've got the clock ticking a little bit on addressing this, right? I mean, if we turn around and say, okay, let's collect other data, other estimates in terms of what is needed. If we get to our July meeting, are we missing the opportunity, the window
Mm.
Well,
to correct this?
we're losing some time, but the other complication there is that we've told Highlander soccer camps that they can be on the fields during the time. The first phase would be the grub treatment, which, and Highlander soccer camps is going to be there in the next couple weeks. So it wouldn't be a terrible thing if we didn't start anything until after Highlander soccer camps were over.
And
And
those are over by the end of July?
end of June.
End of June, okay.
Yeah.
So we actually kind of have to push pause anyway for the Highlander soccer. So
A
if-
little bit, yeah.
So if we push this decision back to July, and I hate kicking the can down the road, particularly if we miss a window for the grub treatment, are we still gonna be okay?
I don't think so. And especially looking at a big company and scheduling, I think that we probably need to put them on the calendar right now and then cancel if we come to a better conclusion. And I mean, just for it seems to me like if we're thinking about parsing this out and having volunteers do that, then there's gonna be a certain time limit that we're limited to be on the field after the spraying of the pesticides. So if, let's say that they can't do that until mid-July, and then we have to wait 2 weeks, it's just like our clock is ticking before we start having fall programs on there.
Mhm.
So I would be inclined to, the questions that seem to make the most sense to me are, after the treatment, how long do you have to stay off of the field?
Mhm.
And the second one is, if we just did the grub treatment, a single application, well, how much money would that actually cost?
If we only did the grub treatment.
If we
yeah.
only did the grub treatment?
But I think we need to, I'm sorry, I don't like the idea of contracting and then bailing, because we haven't tried to get anything else, and I have two good references that tomorrow I can, I could read you these things, but there's two companies that come recommended by other rec districts.
Yeah.
So I'd rather get, just see, and if they go, hey, we're booked the whole summer, then I understand what you're saying might be our next best thing.
Yeah, I think that was just addressing the point of can we wait? I don't think we can wait. I was also gonna suggest, like, I don't know how well anybody here knows Ed Reed, like, someone who operates in this area and maybe is in a position to like have, like an in-kind donation. I know it's similar to the Sugar Bush, but just going to Ed and being like, hey, we got this quote. Can you give us an idea? Is this like outlandish? Is this like ballpark of what we should expect? While we're waiting to hear back from S&D, it's just like calling favors from people that probably know a little bit more than us in order to just gather information to know, like, this is probably what we're looking at from each of these different groups, or this is, like the highest ticket that we can expect.
It sounds like we're really focused on addressing the grub problem. I mean, that's the more narrow time frame. And did SD give what was their cost for the grub treatment alone? Was it on the?
That's the 12,000.
That's
12,500.
And
That
Okay,
was like grub and fertilizer.
okay. Grub and fertilizer?
Yep.
Okay, so if we turned around and we said, in terms of immediacy, that gives us a window to set that we could say up to, what are we talking, 20,000 for the equivalent of the grub treatment and the fertilizer that they are offering. I'm not thinking that it would be higher than that. Hopefully we have something that's lower than that so that we can address that before our meeting in July. And then as we gather more data, then we can come up with a plan in terms of funding for the rest of the plan. If the window is to get that grub treatment and the immediate fertilizer done, contracted before our July meeting. Does it make sense to try to allocate up to for those two things?
Can we do a vote by email in between meetings? Is that possible? Is there a way to, like, if we find out after a week of researching and talking to as many people as possible, this is what it costs, this is what other people say it would cost if we want, I just am wondering, is there a different way rather than waiting a full month? Because that seems like
I don't think we can. I think we could go if we voted now
Yeah.
for up to a certain amount for those two things, for the grub treatment and fertilizer, and then designate Bear and Kevin as our proxies to make a decision on the ones that come in for those two things, then we don't have to wait until July. We've allocated the money. We can't vote by email. I mean, unfortunately, open meeting laws, we cannot, but we certainly can allocate that amount of money and designate our proxies to make a decision within that framework, I think.
But what happens if we get a quote back that's like dramatically different? Like someone says, oh, there's no grub problem.
well, we know we know we have to spend something, right? I mean,
Right.
something
But
has to be
if you
done.
get it something back dramatically different and we're leaving it up to you and Kevin to make the best answer, is that the proposal?
Well, can we, if we allocate the $20,000 and we vote on that today, right? And then Kevin and I do some research and we find an alternative that makes a lot more sense. Can we address that through email, even because we've already voted on the money we're going to spend, that up to, right? But if we find an alternative, could that be addressed as a committee via email?
Can we Jeopardy it, please? And the category is remediation.
Right.
And the category is remediation up to at the discretion of Bear and Kevin.
Just a clarifying question.
Yeah.
What's the square footage of that river park that needs to be treated?
Ooh, that's a good
This
question.
doesn't say. So in trying to talk to Ed Reed to say, what would you think is reasonable? He's gonna say, well, how much area are we talking about?
And
It's big.
I think we have quite a few questions back to this group who did the proposal, like
Mhm.
what is, so Gotta get that stuff going.
Just to address one question Luke had about how after the grub control, S&D stated, my question was, is it okay to have kids on the fields during this treatment? And he said not during treatment, but shortly thereafter. The label dictates re-entry, and there are 2 levels, of which the minimum is nobody out there when we apply, and the tightest is no one out there for 4 hours after application. We are only required to give you the minimum for liquid herbicides. Re-entry is when the spray is dried. So it sounds like it's a day or so. It's not weeks.
yeah,
So
right.
that's helpful. You know, one of the other things that S&D has mentioned several times is that, and specifically in this fertilizing and grub treatment, mow at least twice a week.
2
So
to 4 times a week.
there goes our mowing budget, which we already blew out of the water by having to hire different mowing operations. So that's another question is, you know, how can we adjust Eamon's mowing pattern at the park to, you know, so that it's within a realm that we can afford and maybe take care of, you know, maybe Eamon's mowing the lacrosse fields once a week and mowing the lacrosse fields twice a week if we're treating for grubs, and the soccer field once, or I'm not sure what, or maybe we use our new mower. But that's
That's where we're still in a diagnostic phase with that question.
right.
Because
Yes.
Does it make sense for us? I mean, to me, it seems like we should explore as many options as possible. Like, can we get donations? Is it feasible to do this with volunteers? I don't know that we know that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, while we're engaging in conversations, like, should I see if we can get a narrator? Can we like reach out and see about this CrossFit thing?
Yeah.
Like, we're just explore all avenues to see what other options we have with, you know, just knowing that it's fairly time sensitive.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
we could do, you know, if you're gonna seed it, we could do that too, if we had a spreader.
Mike has a spreader.
so, but we need to know, like, after the treatment, that's when you're supposed to mow twice,
Mhm.
and how much water, I mean, because it was a lot of money to,
Yeah, twice is during the active growing season.
Right.
So like now.
Yeah.
That's gonna die off here in July, and then it's once, you know.
Yeah, that's
again,
true.
Starting in September.
and we could
have
also,
volunteer mow it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
You know,
like we were paid this, like, I don't know, I put my mower on there 1 week and we just have like a rotation by committee and each of us takes 1 week where we go mow it or something like that.
Mhm.
We could have a mower rally.
Or you know, we talked about like a Harwood intern. I mean, thinking of like all these kids who've grown up playing on those fields.
Yep.
Like, we're talking about the challenge of
Mhm.
rotating water, but if it's a kid who, you know, goes down there once an afternoon to move it, that's, yeah, like there could be other options.
Yeah.
So,
and we could also do a whole bunch of research and call a special meeting and talk more about it.
sure.
I just don't wanna miss now, you know, it's like an opportunity to get started on it now, and their first treatment was closed in June, so I'm just
Mhm.
worried that pushing it off will mean we don't get the results.
But what
Mhm.
Doug just said about the thing at the theater scares me, that
Sure.
maybe that's not the right. You know, but like we can say,
Well,
we take the next week.
I
to
can guarantee you
decide.
it is
It's
grubs,
grubs.
because all you have to do is
Yeah,
dig a little bit. Yeah.
When they pick up a ground ball, they're gonna get broke.
Yeah.
And looking back, like 2 summers ago, I mean, I remember seeing either skunks or animals eating at the turf, they were eating.
Yeah.
them. It's just-
Didn't know- yeah, no, we
Hindsight's
didn't know, it
20/20,
was
right?
together.
Right.
Is that a grub treatment
Um,
to introduce like hundreds of skunks? Just kidding.
They really tore up the
What's it?
grass.
So I think.
The aeration.
I think
Yeah,
it's clear that we.
And aeration.
we
So I
need to-
think we really.
Hang on 1 second, Alice. Mike is just adding a comment here.
I think it's clear that we need to take action. We clearly need to complete our due diligence, but it's going to cost something, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, or 30,000. I'm comfortable authorizing a not to exceed amount of $20,000 and then empower Bear and Kevin to complete due diligence and negotiate with the contractor. And that way you have the authorization to move forward and you're not having to wait. I don't see the benefit of not authorizing a not to exceed with the understanding that.
As long as we get, I think we need, I got two options to contact.
Yeah, I mean,
the alternate companies. I
that
mean, I
means,
just feel like we
that
might
means,
be-
you
yeah.
know, clearly we have research to do on what can we take on a volunteer basis? Who can give us a second opinion, a second estimate, third estimate if we need it. I think all of that is important before we spend any money for sure. But I also think it's important to allocate some money now so that when we, you know, if it seems in the next week, like, yeah, this makes the most sense, then we can just
Yeah,
schedule.
I agree. I agree with that line of thinking.
What was what Highlander soccer camp? What are the dates on that?
22nd to 29th, I think.
Just next week.
Okay.
How long did it take to get the first estimate from like contact to them providing this?
It took them about 10 days to get me the numbers after he had sent me the recommendations.
Did you say anything about potential scheduling?
No,
Doug, is there, as the person who looks at all the finances, is there, is there a number in your mind that seems like it would be concerning to go over, or is there, like when we start randomly tossing around?
Yeah,
I'm not in with you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have more than 30. You know, the money that's in the Mad River account, I just looked that up, is Mad River Park, we've got 16,000 in there. And we've got almost 30,000 set aside in the Mad River Valley Rec District account. And we also have this year's allocation. So, you know, I don't think we want to go more than 30 or 40,000 in that, because that will put us down to a zero balance at the end of the year.
Matt.
Yeah, just couple thoughts. One, I'd say, yeah, getting on the treatment remediation program and the fertilizing and the drug control right away makes sense. I would say when it comes to volunteers, I wouldn't, I feel like that's a metered product that even overseeding, right? You can either go too thin or too thick, either waste resources or just waste your time. And then fertilizing, obviously, you know, let somebody, whether it's S&D or whoever we go with, but let them do that. Because it sounds like on top of this, there's a huge lift coming up to keep this thing watered. Right. And so we're gonna need a ton of volunteers. Like Steve Haskell did the lion's share last year. I did the lion's share 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, clearly we weren't doing enough. We didn't do it at the time. We thought, you know, so it was a win.
Right.
But you know, we're gonna need volunteers for lots of things and mowing, and you know, it comes time to oversee, you know, compost spreading. I know talking to Jeff Brady, years ago. Gonna need volunteer effort. Dedicating some money to it, getting professionals to do the metered products, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense. And then, you know, somewhere I read in the minutes about a second water wheel. But based on the amount of watering that it sounds like this is going to need permanently going forward, I think those are like, what, $5,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
I wouldn't overlook that cost.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're gonna get the water that's needed from that recommendation anywhere close to it in a reasonable amount of time with one water wheel, one person. Unless they're literally going there 2-3 in the morning.
Well, I
just have to check
think,
with Minash first to see if they know the capacity, because it wouldn't do us any good to have a second water wheel if we're gonna have the well run dry.
I mean, the problem is that we can only, you know, we can only water a seventh. We can what? We can only water a seventh of the field in 10 hours, which is the S&D recommendation. Currently, our water wheel is set at a 3-hour cycle, and they're recommending a 10-hour cycle. So one night, right,
Right.
is 1/7. So we actually, I don't know how we've, even if we ran the water wheel all night and all day, that's still only 2 out of the 7 strips reasonably that we could get watered in one. So I don't know, it's kind of daunting because, you know, if the stuff wants to be watered every day, but we can only water 5 strips in a week. How do we, that's why I was getting to the second water wheel, so.
When we got on it, you turn the dial, set the
Yeah.
speed, which it comes back. And so
Yeah.
if we were at 3 hours, you can easily double it. You can just turn the dial.
Yeah.
Slower.
Yeah.
Just
Just wondering, like,
we just turn the video,
Yeah.
somebody would go at before work,
Mhm.
lunchtime, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
But that's on the 3-hour cycle,
Yeah.
and S&D is
Yeah.
recommending a 10-hour cycle.
4 holes. 4 holes.
Yeah.
So if it's a 10-hour cycle, that's less volunteer time, but it's more watering.
But it sounds like we should get right on getting the cost of I call Monash and find out the capacity of the well, and if it can handle it, I find out buying another water wheel, how much it will be and how soon we can get it.
Mhm.
So you might want to authorize up to X for a second water wheel. Right?
If in fact, without having more assessment done, that another water wheel, that much water is actually needed. We don't know that.
Yeah, that's true. But Laura, could we task you with researching how much a second water wheel
Yeah.
would be and
Mhm.
and what our well capacity is?
Yeah.
Online. But it sounds
So
like.
can I make a motion?
Sounds like we were watering 9 to 12 hours per day last year in a drought and not having issues with the well, which is, I think, at least in some way, like that's positive.
That's a good sign, yeah.
Thinking that like running it for 10 hours straight is not going to be one section as opposed to like
Right.
if we stick with one. So
Well, it wasn't over the whole summer that they did that. It was just certain times, right?
Yeah, we were really only waiting.
okay,
Yeah, so it's a little hard to,
Mhm.
okay.
but we'll keep
But
getting.
it's very,
research.
it doesn't shock me at all. That we weren't
Yeah.
putting enough down. We're basically trying to put just enough down, not to let it.
Yeah.
Die.
Right.
And it just got bad enough to let it rust. And
Yeah.
and just.
Yeah. Did you want to make a motion, Alice?
Yes, I do.
Please do.
Okay.
We're
I
way
move-
over our 15 minutes.
No, this is our lion's share work is the park. I mean, it really is our signature work in many ways. So I move to allocate up to 20,000 for turf remediation, including grub control treatment. We authorize Mary Simmons and Kevin Anderson to collect estimates and make a determination as to the best contractor to satisfy immediate turf remediation.
That's actually one of the things you said.
Does that work?
Well spoken.
I will do it again.
It's almost like you wrote it down.
seconded
I
it.
did.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Thank you.
second the
Al.
motion. Me, I can't second the motion. Mike, did
Luke
you need that
seconded
motion
it.
again?
Luke seconded it.
I didn't.
Okay.
You
Mike,
didn't hear.
did you get that motion?
More or less authorize expense of $20,000 for remediation. And we're empowering Bear and Kevin to make a determination as to the best contractor to meet turf remediation needs.
Yeah,
Up to 20,000.
up to.
Up to Steve.
So that motion has passed. Thank you all. And
Thank you,
we'll
Bear, for
report back
the
our
everybody.
marching orders. So moving on,
Can I just make one
Yes,
suggestion?
please, yeah.
Talk to those guys there. They talk about adding a wetting agent to this, to the
Mhm.
soil to hold moisture, but I don't see that that's listed in any of their.
it is not listed in their estimate. Yes. Yeah. I'm not
Is
sure.
that as simple as like diatomaceous earth and like
I'm not sure.
vermiculite or something?
I'm not sure.
So there's natural or synthetic in there, so yes.
Yeah. I just wonder, I mean, I wonder if some of these things might be easily donated. Like I built a wood fired pizza oven which uses vermiculite and
Mhm.
we got like 3 50-pound bags of it donated
Yeah,
pretty easily just by
Right.
asking for push form.
Yeah,
So
can we?
great.
That's needed.
Matt,
Yeah, just, what it sounds like from the minutes that the recommendation we're going to be closing the park, at least the lacrosse end for kind of now through next spring.
mhm,
Just getting out in front of that and getting it out to the community, and as the lacrosse community, we're happy to
Yeah.
send it to all the lacrosse players, but they're gonna want a home, and I'm gonna be reaching out to Harwood, but you know,
mhm,
they have their own turf issues.
yep,
So there's, you know, between all the graduates and college players and all the kids wanting to get out and play around.
yeah, yeah,
Nice to have a recommended home for them.
right. On that note, you and I chatted the other night about Flemmerfield. And I did a little research on Sugarbush Polo. They have a big tournament on the 4th of July. And other than that, they play Saturday evenings through the summer, and that's it. They have a Wednesday learn to play, but that sounds like a kind of vague and sort of whether or not people will show up. So I think we could talk to Mitch Taylor, who runs that club, or at least he's the field manager for their club for Flemmerfield, and just find out if Wednesday nights is actually a thing, because those are the only folks who are on the fields during the summer. So if that was a reasonable place for you guys to play pickup or practice or whatever.
Yeah, and then just check, we've always been told there can't be equipment left.
Mhm.
So in the spring, honestly, we break that rule and leave lacrosse nets, because
Yeah.
it's like a 3-week window before Maverick Park opens, but the goal would be to be able to leave a lacrosse net and then probably work with Highlander Lacrosse to get some backstops, which we have,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
just so we're not spraying.
Yeah.
balls and-
and do those go up and down pretty easily?
Yeah, pretty easily.
Mhm.
I want to talk to the polo people and see if it's, you know, if a backstop would scare the horses or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because I can imagine it in the far corner,
mm-hmm,
just set it up, but the goal is kind of right
right,
up against the high grass line. or
Yeah.
something. We could, you know, I'd love to just have a home with people.
yeah. And are you gonna look into CrossFit also for this summer for that?
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
just being on their field, I mean, they're not in appreciably better shape than we are.
Uh-huh,
Maverick Park is.
yeah,
I mean, the CrossFit, you know, the upper field at Harvard where the cross plays is
mm-hmm,
arguably the worst field in the state.
really,
Yeah, it's just,
yeah,
it's on a septic field, it doesn't drain, and there's
Yeah.
never any grass for,
right,
you know, it's not just a crease, it's not the goal.
Yep.
It's like a huge area.
Yeah.
But
Is there
Okay.
a former polo field on Sherman Road?
I don't know, I've heard that there was maybe one at Wadham Staple up off of East Warren Road.
There is a, yeah, purchased by, that was for sale and that's been purchased, but it's not buildable.
Uh-huh,
And it's not really, they use it for haying, to freeze haze that,
uh-huh,
but off of Sherman Road, there looks like there's across from, what's his name, Dave something Klein? You guys know him?
mm-mm.
He's the house on the left, but on the other side of the road before the big house, there's
Dave
a,
Badlickline? Yeah.
Our select board,
across from him,
selectmen,
before the
mhm.
other house is looks like a former polo field.
Hmm.
I have no idea who owns it. But
You
Interesting.
could ask Dave. I know Dave pretty well, I can talk to him.
just curious, I mean, if that's.
Would you, Luke,
a
just,
Possibility.
just looking online at the database, it's in our well is 18 gallons a minute.
Yeah, we
Okay.
talked about that before you got here. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were calling Ross to figure out.
Yeah, but we just,
Well,
yeah.
We're trying to figure out like, well, what's the,
Like a refill rate.
yeah, like how much can we
Right,
actually draw,
capacity,
you know,
yeah.
without
Before it pulls silver.
depleting it or something, you know, I mean, that's.
16 gallons. That's what's going in, but
Mhm.
if you're drawing more than 18 a minute, eventually you're. Like look more like a static head. And then run a 6-inch pipe for your
Mhm.
volume. But the simple answer is don't draw more than 18 gallons a minute. Right, but then we just gotta.
But aren't there two, it's two different things though, isn't it? The amount you can take out because of the pressure and the electricity needed, and then the capacity of it refilling. I don't know. That's why I'm calling
Yeah, I've had
Minaj,
this
because
discussion with friends before, but. no.
but I think it's two separate things because that we had to ask them a lot of questions before, so I'm gonna re-ask
Yeah.
and.
I just know when you open the valve without the sprinkler on it, it's a geyser. Yeah, there's-
Oh,
the pump
good.
can-
Uh-huh,
the
yeah.
pump can-
Yeah, there's water there. Yeah,
Drain and
Yeah.
water
okay.
need time.
Good.
So it's rate, flow and
Yeah.
capacity. Those are aren't
Yes.
those the parameters?
Yeah,
Yes.
and just look at the water wheel model we have and what the setting is. We'll find
Mhm.
out pretty quick how much water that is. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Matt.
don't-
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Work with. our- and see what-
Yeah.
Juan, I'll ask about it.
I mean, if you could do that and I'll reach out to Northfield and just see if we could borrow it.
The other thing that'd be interesting to know, Matt, from your perspective, is if the leagues are in a financial place to help us out with this at all, or pursue grants specifically, you know, from the parent organizations for field regeneration, or, you know, how can the leagues help us? Help
Yeah.
us, help you.
Yeah, I mean, my sense on this, like, we're not flush.
Yeah,
I think certainly I get the sense just reading stuff over the years that some of the grant requests in the fall are more wants than needs.
mhm,
So I think talking to multiple organizations about we're in a need situation. Like
mhm,
you really can't operate, not, you know, you don't have
mhm.
catch.
Right.
Just guilty of that too. That's
Yeah.
And so there's that part, and then, yeah, soccer, I don't know, I mean. The amount of soccer players we have and the cost to actually run a soccer program is, they're hiring staff,
Yeah,
so they can't be poor.
right.
I mean, they just had a
Right.
front porch forum, I think that they're looking for a paid staff member,
Huh.
so,
Interesting.
um,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
If they raise the price, I have all this kids play soccer, and they baseball,
Mhm.
softball.
I mean, the bottom line is if we don't have a field, then no one
Yeah.
gets to play.
We don't have a program.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
And Don Haddock's camp ends on June 26th. So June 22nd to 26th is the
Mhm.
summer soccer camp.
Okay, so thank you all. And so we're moving on to
Meeting dates.
meeting dates.
So
What you got for us,
Yeah.
Laura?
So, the Roof Farm has this nice music series. It happens to be the third Tuesday of each month, June through September. So, that means we could never go to that. We keep our meetings, where they are. So we are considering seeing if people want to switch. The July meeting should be July 21st, Tuesday, July 21st. Could we switch it to Wednesday, the 22nd? Or if people don't care about going to the roof things throughout the summer, then we don't have to do any of this. And some years we try and skip the August meeting, but I don't know if we're gonna. I doubt we can do that this year because we're probably not gonna spend much time tonight on the strategic plan. So we're gonna have to do that next meeting, and anytime we have to revisit the grant program and any changes to the application, and that would have to be done by September at the latest. So I think my gut feeling is it'd be pretty hard to skip the August meeting, but we could also reschedule it if we want to try and do this LaRue thing. So let's just do July 1st. And we got to ask Mike first because we only have one representative from Moortown.
So July is the
22nd or 20, can anybody ever do it on a Monday night?
So it's currently scheduled for the 21st.
Yeah.
She asked about the 22nd.
I can do the 22nd. I could do Monday to usually do the ambulance. Monday, but I could switch my shift around if need be.
Okay, so other people available either Monday or Wednesday that week?
I will not be available. I will be in the Galapagos.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, too bad.
Into a meeting,
No,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
Wednesday is preferable for me that week.
Okay, you guys on Zoom?
I'm not available Monday or Wednesday.
Not?
Either work for me.
Okay. Alice?
Either one works.
Okay, so we should try and do it Wednesday because that's better for you and you don't just change your shift.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds
so Wednesday, July 22nd, regular time here. Then August, I would just say that I'm not able to be at the meeting on the 18th. August 18th is our scheduled. But that's fine. Somebody take good notes or I'll watch the video. But if we want to change it to the 19th, I could be here, and then we'd also get off the LaRue thing, but honestly, I don't know what people, how much they care about,
I can't do the 19th, and Stacy, neither can you. That's and Cal.
Yep, correct.
Um,
Found a calendar.
do we want to just keep it on the 18th and I'll be the only person who,
I can be there.
I don't think I can do that. That's the last week before school starts, right? Luke, do you know?
Kids start on the 26th.
Yeah.
So the last full week before kids start.
even though Labor Day is late this year, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they
Just
start on
full
the 20
schedule.
26th, they go 3 days.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm not here the 18th then.
I mean, we could make it a virtual meeting, plan ahead and say this one will be virtual. Does that make any difference for you, Molly?
Well, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think I'm going camping.
No, that.
So,
Someone with cell service, you can
but yeah, you shouldn't plan around my unknowns, but does the week before of the 10th work any different for people? I know is that too close to the last meeting?
I'm out that week, but
I'm out that week.
Okay. Well, then I'll just try to join. I think Leah's on vacation then too, but
so August, just leave it on the 18th?
I think so.
Think so.
visit it later. I mean, see if that shifts. I mean, get it bumped to the 25th.
The night before school starts?
I'm not teachers.
Mhm.
I say we keep it on the 18th for now and then
Then we can
revisit
talk about it
during
in
our
July.
I
July
agree.
meeting if we have to.
Okay, good.
Yep,
Okay.
I agree.
Just changing the July 1 to the 22nd. All right. All right, I'm gonna jump right into my executive director report is the next thing. Last year we presented at Moorfest, and I think we should do that again. It's Saturday, September 19th, 4 to 8 p.m. Since they're a new member town, I think it's good. I think I can do it, but I'm not positive. I was thinking of doing something around skincare, sunblock kind of thing, have if kids came up and had a hat on, I'd give them a little treat, that kind of thing. And just materials about the rec district. Last year I had a big blank board and I had kids and colored markers and they wrote why they liked youth sports. And I put it in the newspaper. It was kind of cute. I could do something like that again. So I plan on doing that. I may need help staffing it if I'm not able to be there. But I have to apply to and say we're gonna do it, so would do we, I mean.
We should do something. Yes, we should do something.
Good. It is a really cool, fun event. They maybe had 300-400 people, kids, teenagers, the band from Harwood that just won the high school band for the National Life Group Do Good Fest played, and it's adorable. The best of small town, everything.
Nice.
We are signing up kids for swim lessons so far through Waterbury Rec. So far, we have 8 signed up, and that is not as many as I thought we'd get. Process is going well. I could put something on Front Porch Forum, but because it had only gone through the schools and their newsletters to parents of first and second graders. And I contacted all 4 schools 2 separate times to make sure they, it got on their communications. So I don't know. I mean, in a way, putting it on Front Porch Forum tells people we're doing good things with their money. I may get a bunch of bogus responses and people who don't have first and second graders, or people that just don't look at the PTO newsletter and this is all of a sudden new to them. So I'm willing to do that.
I don't remember seeing it on Fasten's newsletter, but maybe I just missed it.
It was in the newsletter and then we got a separate email for it too.
Way to go, Corey.
Come on, Corey.
I say he's
They throw her under the bus.
But we got 2 notifications, at least for second grade.
So that's, yeah. Yeah. So just leave it, you think?
How many spots are available?
Well, we had 4,000 tagged and now this is about 1,000 we spent. So we still have another 2,000 to.
I think we ought to spread the word.
For grub mediation. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's worthwhile spreading the word and putting it out there.
Okay. All right, I will do that.
So it's first and second grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with 3 of the 4 schools locally with their first and second grade teachers, so I could just email those teachers. I mean, I was in Tommy Young's class this
Okay,
morning,
great.
so like I can just reach out.
This would back up, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and just
Yeah.
say like, hey, just so you guys are aware, can you let parents know?
Excellent, but I'll still do the Front Porch Forum thing.
Yeah.
We need to have volunteers at the Mad Marathon, which is Sunday.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt, take care.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Matt.
Sunday, July 12th, we do a water stop. And Doug, you said you're gonna be available to help. You're like.
I am.
Great, and are you willing to do the pickup and Luke did drop off or no?
I cannot do that day. It's first year, so Doug, I won't be there with you at 6 a.m. filling up water.
What am I supposed to do?
Send my wife up? I don't know. Yeah.
Anybody else available to? In the past, we've done 2 shifts. And was it really 6 or more like?
It's the first and last aid station. I would say that it's very important to have no fewer than, I mean, the absolute minimum would be 4 in the morning, but it would be better to have 5 or 6 people there for the first shift, oh yeah. You have like 1,000 people come through.
Yeah, but they're thirsty the first mile?
More people than you imagine get water. And then it's just a long haul, right? So you move to the other side of the road and you know, especially if you're there till the end of the marathon, that's a long shift, a lot less people, but a long shift. So I think it's like, there's definitely a lot more action with the first shift. It's fun.
You gotta get up early.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing a 50-mile bike ride with Tobin on that day, so.
Who else is available to do a couple hours?
I think I can, Laura. I'm 95% sure I can.
Yeah. I'll
Couple
follow up.
hours or 6 a.m.? Like I did the afternoon shift last year. Are you just looking for a morning shift?
No, we have to cover, it's goes the entire length
Okay.
of the marathon until like 1 PM because.
Yeah.
Some people are slow and you switch it to the other side of the room, road. I've done it, but I haven't done an early shift.
I'm a maybe. I gotta look. I'll let you know.
So maybe Molly, anybody else available?
No, it's my daughter's birthday.
The
No,
12th we're
okay.
talking about? Is that right? Sunday, the 12th?
Yes,
I could do the morning shift.
Yeah, and I think I can do the morning.
I will follow up.
I have a friend that, Jay Seekins, who has helped out several times that I can ask.
okay.
I already have a marshalling from 8 to
Okay.
9:30.
But maybe if I'm not doing the ambulance.
Okay.
And
Great,
what is the more early shift time frame? Potentially, it's starting,
I would say like,
Seven.
the work equitable, I would say it's like 6 to 9 and then 10
Okay.
to 1 or something. Like the second shift could be a little longer, but the first shift is all of the logistics of getting everything mixed and lots of cups and then moving the tables across the road.
Yeah.
So. Does that seem right, Doug?
Yeah, I was gonna say 6:15. We are there and setting up. And then, yeah, that we generally, I think we move the table around 9 o'clock and
Go to 9:30, I mean, because the other people are gonna, I know. It's your time.
yeah, I mean, we got to move it because the fastest people are coming back.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Like the people who are doing the half marathon are coming back down by then.
No, I know, I'm not questioning when you move the table, I'm questioning the end of the shift. If you can go
Oh.
till 9:30, then the other shift is 9:30 to 1.
Yeah, 9:30 is fine. I need to leave at 9:30.
Okay. So I guess we all need to reach out to people we know to see if anybody can help, because
How many people committed to being there at 6?
Doug, Alice,
Pretty sure.
Bear, and your friend Jay, so there's only 4 of you. Maybe Molly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, 4 is doable, 5 is easier. It's like Luke said, it's 1,000 people coming through within a 5-minute period.
They're all thirsty.
And I would say 75% of them grab water at that point.
All right, well, I can also put something out on Front Porch Forum about volunteers for our water station. Where we ask our friends. I don't know.
Did anyone volunteer for the second shift?
Second shift would be better for me. And Luke, when I was there last year with you, it was kind of like Tobin was running the show. It was like
Yeah.
you need less people in the afternoon, right?
Oh, wait,
It's
yeah.
it's so much more spread out.
Yeah, was Leah there too? I can't remember, someone else was there.
And it can be.
Yeah, Jen was there.
For kids too.
Yeah,
Just filling little cups is not a high.
I pulled both shifts. I went from 6 until probably I don't know, 11-ish last year, maybe a little later. So, because Tobin came up and wanted to hang out, but we just aren't gonna be there, so.
And I can come back in the afternoon and take stuff back up.
Oh, great.
No one can do that.
Didn't they? I feel like they did that. I feel like
They do a sweep, but they've got a trailer, and I think the fewer things they need to pick up, the easier it is for them.
You're doing both drop off, pick up the stuff and the drop off.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. All right. I might be able to help, but we'll. So we have 4 for the morning and then maybe Molly for the afternoon, maybe Mike.
Yeah, I'll find out this week.
Okay, great.
We can do it.
Yeah, just get back to me and then I mean, I guess I can also ask Leah. That's the only board member missing tonight,
Yes.
right? Okay, all right. Moving on, Mike and I went to a really good meeting a week or 2 ago about the possibility of having a Mad River Valley or Central Vermont Land Trust. Over time, a lot of people have been interested in that. The Vermont Land Trust is very strong, but they do not look at parcels less than 125 acres. And so that's why having another organization either under a nonprofit umbrella or outright land trust would be really helpful, because the parcels that come up around here are usually smaller than 125 acres. So it was a group of like 40 or so people at LaRue, and we heard some presentations and we had some small group discussions about, starting this, and the general feeling around the room was, yes, it's needed. We think, there were a bunch of lawyers in the room, so incorporating as a 501c3 might not be that costly or hard. There's people that love to donate to preserve land, but it'd be a heavy fundraising lift, so we'll report back. Do you have anything to add to that?
Just that the Mad River Valley is a nexus of land conservation horsepower. I mean, there are just a ton of people involved in that land work that live in this valley. You see it all in that one room. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So if it can happen anywhere, it can happen
Yeah.
here.
So we'll keep you posted on that. We had a really good kickoff for Attitude of Gratitude, the part of the CRV effort. That was June 11th, last Thursday, about 75 people in attendance and 4 board members and myself. So that was great. Thank you, Luke, and Mike and Leah and myself were there. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kevin. Sorry. And it was good. We did at our CRV meeting vote to spend up to $1,600 to change the video. There's a section that a lot of us had a problem with that has a hunter and a woman running, and it says, "I'll run next to hunters in the fall." And Lucia did not want to be in charge of dealing with the video production company, so my job now, although I've not gotten the contact info. So I will, I want to know what they're going to replace it with, because since those are the people that wrote that line, I feel like we need to know what I gave them a suggestion, because they don't have to use that. They're creative people, but we can't spend that much money and then have it wrong again. So anyway, that will be changed, but the website is live, please go on it, sign the pledge. We have, the back cover of the Mad Marathon program is reserved for us. And so at the very top of it, we thank coaches and landowners and all sorts of people and have some photos. But at the top of it, I added a section about, if you live here or love visiting, please help us protect the Mad River Valley. And I put in the QR code and the URL and and there's not a big plan for advancing Attitude of Gratitude, which was, an issue all along, but we're gonna meet as a group more often. CRV, we're gonna meet every other month instead of quarterly to try and, work on things like that and other big projects. So then I'm going to send to the board, I didn't do this yet, but Molly did a great synopsis of the riders survey. That was really a cool survey, Molly, about which trails are used the most and the suggestions people have. So I'll send that out.
You sent
We
it.
got that.
Oh, you did? Oh, gosh. Well,
Mhm.
that's good. I should have checked it off my list.
I don't think I got that one.
Well, it is a problem. I always use the group email. So if you're not getting group emails, you should look back,
I
Stacy.
got the last two, so I don't know about that one, but I'll look.
Okay, do look and get back to me because we need to have a reliable communication, and if I have to resort to the list of 10 separate emails, I can do that, but it kind of scares me when I hear that. I have been helping Rachel Gregorian, who's the fundraiser for the Warren School playground. Because I, have a deep fundraising background and they still have $500,000 to raise, so.
How much? How much?
500.
I thought that was the sum total for the project. They have another 500,000?
No. They've only raised what Warren gave them, which was 200,000 minus 20 for the project manager. And then, no, it's like a $700,000 project. So they already covered, they put the one big structure in. There's a long way to go. I have a lot of ideas. Rachel's done great work with writing grants, but we're not getting grants for it. We're a small town, not a lot of people use the playground. If you're writing a grant for a playground in a city, it's easier to get grants. So there needs to be a major donor list developed to approach people one-on-one. There needs to be some events. There needs to be, they've never gone to the residents of Warren or the alumni of Warren School. I mean, they're really just at the beginning. So helping where I can. And they also, there's an urgency because there's 2 really good grants they can apply for, but they require a cash match. So they, and one of those grants, actually, we might be able to get something from Mad River Park. I mean, there's probably a lot of entities in the Mad River Valley who might be, it's the facilities and building, it's a state grant. So now that I know this need is pretty big, I'll look back at that grant and see if it would be appropriate for us. And the
Great.
second one is land and water conservation, which is a heavier lift, but you can get more money. So I'll look at both of those in light of our needs. I also went on a webinar about e-bikes versus e-motos. Are you guys familiar with that?
Saw some
term?
drive by.
Yeah,
actually.
just run across the line. Yeah, those two kids have been cruising town and all that.
So it's becoming a really big problem in towns. I saw a bunch of them on Lincoln Gap. Kids, I mean, it's frightening. I mean, they're like little motorcycles.
No.
They're not e-bikes. They should never be on trails. So a bunch of recreation people, Local Motion sponsored it. And the biggest problem is that they're being marketed really aggressively by companies that are acting like you want to get your kid outside away from screens here. And they're just, can go.
I'll
really-
share an article from the Vale Daily on that issue, and the one of the challenges is that the bikes that are class 3, that are really little motor scooters, even the class 2 bikes can be upgraded, even though the manufacturer sends it out as a class 2, and the kids can figure out how to change that app so that they're running at 30 miles an hour.
So, they may be putting together like a editorial that we could put in our newspaper. And I'm just I'm gonna ask Med Path Riders Chamber if anybody's having problems or issues with it. But it just seems like I mean, on the Burlington Bike Path, they have packs of kids going really fast. And walkers and regular bike riders are in jeopardy. So, and the kids are trying to persuade their parents to, get this cool bike for me that's not really a bike,
And they're
So-
stealth.
They what?
They're stealth.
So you- yeah.
So you can do it at night and trespass and
Mm,
no one can hear you.
yeah, so that's it. I think that is my full list of topics. Any
Okay.
questions?
Can I make an agenda recommendation at this point? Given that it is 8 o'clock? Yikes. The question of letters of support is sort of a pressing priority right now. So as is the strategic plan, but I do detect that our creative energies are dwindling. And so I don't know how much energy, positive energy will go into the strategic plan right now. I guess my question on that would be at this particular juncture would be two questions. One is in terms of content, and I see everybody's comments, are we good with the current formatting of it? And B, is it okay if I take those content comments, integrate them, go ahead and integrate them, and then use just 10 minutes right now to confirm that the vision statement is on track? I mean, I think that rather than try to go through the strategic plan in its entirety, I am more than happy to grab those comments, integrate them, as long as everybody is okay with the formatting, and that we take about 5-10 minutes just to confirm that the vision, I revamped that a little bit, to confirm that the vision statement is good. And then we'll move it up on our priority list. But really where we are right now is confirming content, formatting, and then moving forward with voice, which is really something that Laura and I can adjust. So my question is, first of all, are we okay with formatting, the current formatting? I made sure all the sections are exactly the same. Mike, you made a comment on which section? Section 1. Yes, we need to include that because it's consistent. We need a statement. I think it was the ecological integrity. We need a statement of the current conditions. That content needs to be added. But are we good with the sections, the formatting?
I guess I would say, and I didn't add this in the comments, but if we had like a short executive summary or something up top, rather than going straight into the organizational overview and history, that might be good. Just thinking of.
So where are you talking about that in general or
in like that might be something to stick at the very beginning. The kind of Cliff Notes version for the folks who aren't.
People don't read Kevin,
Right.
so let's just be honest.
Or so it doesn't help to add that. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a thought in terms of format.
Or we just we have a one pager. Separate
Fair.
document or
You can
something.
do that. Yep.
And I also think we need to change it to have it say it's 2026.
okay.
to
So
31.
executive summary, is that not the overview that we have at the beginning? Organizational overview? Mike, history, that?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like here are our priorities,
Okay,
we.
Well, why
formed in
don't we do
1990.
this? As Alice and I work on it, we pull out and make a one pager and see if then we want to put part or all of that back in as the first.
Yeah, I think it can
Okay.
be. Yeah, I think overall the structure is fine. I think I'm a big fan of the one pager, and I'm
Yeah.
actually a fan of a visual one pager, which we don't need to work on today, but we can pull together some examples of just something to take a quick look at it but that could be done after the fact.
Right,
People should still read the plan, but people don't, so this might be a way for us to get more mileage out of it.
Okay, so it kind of a snapshot summary, that introduction, shall we call it, at the beginning, before we get into the grant, more of the details? Is that
Yes,
what you're?
what
Okay.
you know, format generally good, but as Mike suggested, maybe as you're working on the final version, see if you can come up with that separate one pager, and if it makes sense,
Okay.
you could do it.
I'm happy to work on that.
okay.
Okay. And then, Mike, I think you made a recommendation. I can play with this on the recreational landscape to see how easily it can be converted into a more of a chart or a visual. I can,
That's a kind of a nice to have thing, not a must have. Again, I think anything we can do to break it up, and where we're listing statistics, those are easy to flow into a chart or a diagram, but
okay,
that's we can do that later.
okay,
That's just referred to this recreational landscape section?
Yeah, because
And I just, full transparency, I just took it from the last one the consultants did 8 years ago, and I updated a few things.
Yeah.
So,
it's just converting that into a different, more of a visual format.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom, they're all the same. So I'll come back to the vision statement. Molly, I'm still going to need from you on the most current information on adaptive trails for the riders.
Yes,
Content,
I will get that to you.
and for the group on the indoor covered community recreation center, Laura took a stab at writing the overview. I added in current conditions on that. The only thing that I would say, Laura, and I don't want to spend a lot of time, but that this is not simply for winter use, but for 4-season use.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, the need, yeah, okay, but it's especially needed in the winter.
Yeah, and we can highlight that especially during the winter, but a 4-season. So let me come back up to the vision statement and see if we are good on the content there. And any comments?
Alice, I'm always a fan of the Oxford comma.
Where?
After inclusivity.
Yes, correct. That is grammatically correct. Thank you. You are my grammar super ego.
Do we envision a vibrant Mad River Valley where recreation trails and facilities throughout the Mad River Valley support? Can we just say where recreation trails and facilities support lifelong physical activity?
Yes. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, better.
Better. Thank you. Much better.
And the second one, maybe maintain and enhance Mad River Park. Like, cause to me, enhancements are new, nice to haves, and we're now finding out that.
Maintain and make enhancements.
Maintain
Isn't maintaining part of our mission anyway?
Enhance.
Yeah, maintain and enhance Mad River Park.
To support.
And enhance Mad River Park. Okay.
and somebody brought this up before and we haven't really changed things, but I think we should say in the third one, steward our lands responsibly and protect ecological integrity while embracing blah, blah, blah. But and then have at the end, the current vehicle is conservation and recreation visioning project. You know what I mean? That in case
The name
Things-
changes
or things change over time.
that would be my feedback. I think it's like, yeah, I think that given how fluid and emergent the nature of that coalition of people working together is, I think it's realistic that there will be changes in a 5-year period that might be a different name or a different
Mhm.
sort of collaborative nature.
Okay, so separate that out. Steward our lands responsibly and protect.
Like, and champion efforts that protect.
Protect, singular.
Ecological well embrace and eliminate the whole thing on the recreation, conservation, recreation visioning, or leave that in there.
I would say
You
support,
Yeah, or you could say like support the efforts that have been established through like the Trails Collaborative and Conservation and Recreation Vision. So it sort of pays homage to the history and that is that?
I mean, the.
Although the Trails Collaborative, even that has changed. Now it's the Trails Alliance.
Well, it's
Yeah,
different.
that's-
It's
no.
more like acknowledging
think
the
we need to
history of
have that in
collaboration.
there.
That's too far back, okay.
Because it's so far back and it was just we haven't done it for many years.
Yeah, okay.
But I like where you're going with, support support the efforts and, like products of conservation and recreation visioning, because I think those will stick.
Support the efforts and mission of the Conservation Recreation Vision thing.
Efforts, projects, and mission, maybe, vision.
It would be CRV I mean, it's not the conservation, it should be mission of it's not the.
Okay, of Conservation Recreation Visioning, is that? That's not,
It's visioning,
that's what I'm asking, yes.
yeah, this.
Okay.
Visioning project.
But then I think it needs to say something else about like alluding to the future. Something like supporting the effort projects and mission of concept. And
And for
future
how-
projects and
And how it evolves.
Evolves, yeah,
in
yeah.
the future, yeah.
Say that again, and future.
And how it evolves in the future.
Or
That leaves us
Yeah.
some flexibility, right? Whatever name it shall be called. Arose by any other name. How about how about the effort, principles and mission of conservation and recreation? Never mind. I was going to say conservation recreation visioning project.
Sure.
And principles is a nice word because I feel like that's actually a hot topic right now in CRV, but
And mission of conservation and recreation visioning project.
Yeah.
No, just leave it.
Wait, you should really put CRV in parentheses, because everybody refers to it as CRV.
Is it a committee? Is it a board? I mean, it's conservation and recreation visioning.
Project.
What? It's a project?
That's the question.
Initiative?
Is it a board? Is it a committee?
Yeah.
Is it an initiative?
Good question.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't think you should say the effort, support the,
Principles?
it's important. Didn't you say that, Molly? Because there's like this
To-
attitude of gratitude was the second project we did. I did a first project, that was the second project, there's more to come. And it's gonna need, support.
Principles. This one does not require super ego, comma.
Yes.
Support the principles and mission of, see, I would have it as the mission of the Conservation and Recreation Visioning CRV Initiative.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That's good.
Fairly certain that there's no more productive way to do editing. I'm just teasing, but it's like my mind was fried at this point.
Alice, you want to add a "the" to before conservation,
Yeah,
mission
Before.
of the conservation.
Oh, yes. Yep,
Nation.
thank you. The
I
initiative.
thought Laura just took that out.
Well, as it becomes an initiative, when we add the
Oh,
initiative,
yeah.
now it becomes a of the Conservation and Recreation Visioning Initiative and its future iterations.
But I still want projects in there. It should be support the mission, principles and projects. That's what I think, because the projects of CRV are what's gonna be impactful and is most important moving forward.
Is that a commitment to support a proposed grant proposal for a project? Like, I don't.
Maybe.
We know what all those projects are, or
Well,
committing to be in agreement with them here?
well,
No, I hear what you're saying.
well, maybe. I mean, I think you bring up a good point. It might be overreach. It might be because some of the projects are gonna be claimed by different members that might not be that important to us. So I withdraw my suggestion about having projects in there.
Okay. And I can eliminate that comma and have this be a conjunct and mission. Boom, boom, get rid of that comma of the CRV original, and I think you just say and its future iterations. And the program's future iterations.
I like the way it is, how it evolves in the future.
Okay.
What about support the principles, mission and evolution of?
Ooh. Ooh.
You're getting the wordsmither award. Right.
Now I get a comma. And evolution. That's better. Space up. Okay. Thank you, AI. Just do it. There, that's better.
Yeah.
We good with vision?
No period at the end of sustainable, it should be a period at the end of that last bullet. Unless my eyesight.
There is one there.
There is.
Yeah.
Fine tooth comb will need to be used to go through and make sure that it for all of the grammatical pieces are correct.
Can I ask a question that maybe is just thinking of strategic plans, and the last one we had for 8 years, but like we were talking about the difference between 2025 and 2026, and we're halfway through 2026. So is this like Like, should we give ourselves a little grace and be like 2027 to 2032? Because if we're not gonna get it done until after August,
I think that's a
that doesn't
good
really give us
idea.
a lot of
I
room
think
to
that's a heck of a good
implement
idea.
it, 5 years.
Just gain another
Already
year.
behind the 8 ball.
And I'm.
We're not gonna, given that this will not be in its final form,
2035, I think that's seems reasonable.
like that, that's a weird, isn't that a little weird? 2732,
Oh my God, yeah.
that just looks odd.
You know what? It strikes me that that vision statement should be at the very top.
Yes, the mission and vision usually is at the top, right, in a strategic plan.
Well, let's think about that. I connect, and this is again the thinking about the difference between a mission and a vision. And I think we need to reduce actually some of this. This material needs to get shortened, I think. Add in a summary, an overview, introductory page. Reduce organizational overview and history. We can reduce that. Convert the recreational landscape maybe into a visual. And I think of there, we don't have anywhere in here, I don't think, our vision statement, but a vision as a lead in, because a vision is about new initiatives, which leads us in then to our key focus areas.
Is this document for us to keep us on track, or is it for others to read and make sure we're on track?
I would imagine both, but I think it's primarily for us.
I agree. So I'm thinking we need to focus on the areas that that we're going to be working on.
Which are these down here?
And maybe
these.
not worry so much about shortening something that no one's going to read.
In other words, all of this
Like it's, I mean,
text up front, up top.
It's boilerplate, and leave it alone if it's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if we at least have a something that, if you think about what people will do when, if others are going to read it, they will focus on that which is most pertinent, which would be an introductory statement. Skip over this, they're going to go blah, 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 gobbledygook, blah, 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 who cares? And then they're going to jump to this.
Well, let's think about, or do we want to think about putting it into the next Warren time capsule and want people to read in 50 years?
Something like that. And I could have something like a lead-in line. And so, without further ado, here is our strategic plan moving forward. But I do think that this can be, I mean, it's a lot of background before we get to, and I guess I would ask everybody to think about that. We may have a sense of structure in terms of the elements we wish to include, but we might want to consider how we sequence them.
I would argue for using tabs to organize the document, and that way people can easily, like, if it's us, we can easily reference things rather than scrolling, just put it all there. I mean, I would think I don't know that we have to get rid of the section that talks about history, but I think it might go towards the bottom. There's just like relevant historical context that frames like how we came to this strategic plan.
Right. So in other words, put the most pointed parts of emphasis, an overview, an introduction, getting into our vision and focus areas, but still providing access to the background information.
Yeah, it would just go towards the back of the document. I think that if it's us looking at it as a resource document to check in on ourselves, or if anybody outside of this group is gonna read it, it would be helpful for them to just be able to like click on a tab that says, what is the vision and what are the action steps and what are the areas that they're gonna be focusing on, and read whatever seems most relevant.
Mhm.
And I think that like that history, new board member, that's gonna help somebody. I mean, I just don't blow it away, please, because I took a long time writing it.
No, I
It
think
can
it's very
move around or
important.
do whatever,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
It's like important context.
yeah.
Okay. So I've got some thought, we'll have to, Laura and I will continue to work on this in terms of sequencing. And integrating some of the comments for content.
Right.
8:27.
Yeah.
Are we tabling the letters of support policy conversation this evening?
Laura, can you just, we are going to, except for, I think it's important to have some context about why this has come up and establish whether it is moving forward worthy of our attention to create a policy. So the 3 minutes remain to you. I know this is 2 hours instead of an hour and a half, but 3 minutes remain to you, Laura, to give some background why this has become an agenda item.
Okay. We get asked pretty regularly, a couple times a year, to give letters of support to different organizations for grants. And we usually get asked very last minute, like a matter of days before the grants due. And with the Mad River Path wanting 3 letters of recommendation for different activities within the corridor. And we haven't really taken it was really like one of the sections, there wasn't enough information. I mean, you don't even know what they're doing, how much it's gonna cost and other stuff, and you're asked to write a letter of support. And so, and it's just me getting asked 3 days before the grants due. It doesn't feel like I should decide stuff like that. I mean, I'm happy to if you guys want to give me that authority, but it seems more that we should have a policy about it. Hopefully people would ask us sooner. But it's never gonna hit a board meeting. So, if it's just an easy thing? Yeah, but what if it's a controversial topic? Like Alice, there were 3 and 2 of them seemed like, yeah, okay, there's nothing controversial about that. But one of the letters was for things that really weren't spelled out. It was really felt like you were going out on a limb to support that type of work.
Yeah, so we ended up, essentially, I mean, there were 3 grants being both the path and the planning district. One was for the study across Route 100 to see if it makes sense to go from the exit of Warren to Ellen Lane. One was to upgrade an existing section of the Mad River Path. Both of those are like, okay, yeah, we need information is good and updating a part of the path. And the other one was to sort of put the cart before the horse and try to get a grant for working on the section of the corridor from the north end of Ellen Lane all the way up to Riverside Park. And they don't have any feasibility studies to see if they can even put something there. We're like, that's a little bit, why would you support something? So what it comes down to is letters of support, do we want as a board to have the opportunity to vote and discuss every single potential letter of support, knowing that sometimes some of these things come up very suddenly? Or do we want to have a policy that allows some discretion? Maybe it's in the executive committee, maybe it's, chair, vice chair, Doug, Laura, we don't have time to make a policy right now, but so we kick the can down the road simply by saying we don't have a policy and we can't write a letter of support without a policy. Do we need a policy? That's the question.
We may need a policy. My recommendation would be, we have a professional staff person, be to empower them to make good decisions based on what's in our strategic plan, and anything that they think falls outside of that, they bring to the board. I think the value of having a policy is it not only lets you, it says what you can do, it also gives you the backing to say no. Part of this is Laura's time and, you know, having some expectations for when someone asks for a letter of support, that no, you're not going to get one if you call me on a Friday and you need it by Monday.
Right.
So that may be value in having a policy, but I think you just need the framework to do your job.
And to have an off ramp, if I don't think it's right, I would like to have the
Yeah.
board chair or somebody, so maybe it's me and one other person, or the chair and vice chair, I don't know, we don't want to make it too complicated because we want to support good organizations doing good work. Yeah,
That's great. What is
So-
the goal? What are we trying to accomplish tonight? 'Cause
So let me make a recommendation to adjourn. Laura and I will mock up a draft of a potential policy. Laura, of all of us, is the one who is confronted most frequently. It comes across her desk all the time in terms of the letter of support, so she kind of knows what the contingencies and expectations. So together we'll draft one and we'll bring it to the board meeting next time for tweaking and approval.
that's
Great.
good.
I would just like to echo what Mike said about giving like the ability for you to use the policy as a tool for saying no, just because of the relational network that we exist in, that it could be helpful depending upon like the individuals that are approaching you to be able to say, actually, I have to seek, board conversation on this, so I can't have that quick of a turnaround. Like, I think that is important. That way it doesn't always put you in the position of being like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because this is why, it puts it on a board as opposed to just an individual.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Okay,
Great.
how we doing?
Good. Are we ready to wrap this up? Anybody like to make a motion?
And then, can we look at the vision again?
No.
Comma that's missing.
Make a motion to ignore Luke at this moment?
I move to end our meeting.
To adjourn. I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Thank you all.
Thank you all.